Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is first person tutor speaking, the voice of Boss Man teaching. This is the third of three matches that I played with this individual from Brazil. He has a very unique style. It would work on just about anybody because it's one of those unorthodox styles that will really, just infuriate you and get you confused. But very good player, but I found ways to, navigate the problems that were posed, right? So let's go back. This is called, how should I put this? This is a game that I came very close to throwing away. Like there was a critical move at move 28. And I went for a skewer, forgetting that the rook was defending the queen. And it was just so silly. All I had to do was capture the rook with the bishop, just gain the material, and then worry about trying to create the mating net or the pattern that I needed to set up. In any case, I've rambled on enough. Let's get into the game. Starts with e2 to e4. He does that. That's how all of his games start. It stops you from dropping your bishop on c4. So it's very, 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 like the utility of this opening is very good. Then he goes after the pawn in the middle, right? Again, just doing very unorthodox things. Now he stops any possibility from you creating weaknesses on f7 pawn and so on. So I go for development. You need to see the creativity of this. So I block him thinking, okay, no harm there. He goes back. I continue to develop. No, I actually laughed when I saw this. Because I'm like, nah, you did not just check me with the bishop on the left side and then went all the way to the right side and did the same thing. Crazy. But I had to respect it. Now, that's how I deal with bishop checks. Yeah, I just use the pawn. Yeah, I don't think you're going to stay there. Then, yeah, this was a bit fun for me. Let me just call for reinforcements. Now my knight on b2 made that middle pawn a bit safer. Then of course, I didn't even realize that a technique that has been used against me is something that I just did. This is one of the ultimate weaknesses of the bishop, right? This could never happen to a knight. The pawn chain you would have to create to stop a knight from moving, you would have to use all the pawns on the board to make that possible. Yeah? But with the bishop, not so much. So, where do we go from here? All right. You got rid of one of the problems. So, equal trade. All right. When he made this move, this is when I realized he was making space for the bishop, hoping that I didn't see it. But I did. The queen is out. No, I was really thinking about doing the queenside castle. But yeah, it looked a little bit open. Just a little bit too. And then I looked on the left side. I saw that there were pawns and a knight. And I figure, okay, there's a lot more activity going on the left than there is on the right. The right side just has the queen alone. So I castled on that side. So he castles on the same side. But I have more activity on that side. So perhaps he probably should have castled on the other side. I take the diagonal. Alright. Nice preventative measure. Obviously, I'm thinking about what to do next. Okay, so he moved the pawn last. The last pawn move was d7 to d6. And of course, knights don't belong on the edge of the board, but apparently I make it work. Now, this is where things got curious for me. Because I asked myself a question. Because I was trying to set something up. But he is now giving me a discovery on his queen. That's two attacks. That is the pawn is attacking the queen, the rook is attacking the queen. So this is a bit of a risk here. Yeah. Okay, got out the way. Okay. Now you see why my knight was on the edge of the board. Because my knight being on the edge of the board allows me to make moves like this. Right? If my knight was in the typical area, that move is not possible. This is why I like having my knight in weird parts of the board. So now I have tempo on the queen. Okay. My knight is protected, so it's not like it's hanging. Okay. I thought about it before I made this move. I figured, why not add pressure to the king side? Why not bring new pieces into the attack? You know, add some pressure. This was a very good move. I was really, yeah, I was enthused about this move. So I figured, let me just dial it back, give my knight some space to move. What I do enjoy about pins is that once you don't break the pin, I have no reason to move my piece until I have a specific purpose for it to move. All right. Starting a threat. Tempo on the queen. Goes there instead. All right. Then I deliver check. And somehow, what was it that happened here? Okay. Went away with it. There we go. This is what I was setting up. No, he was clever. He dropped the queen right in front of the king. So therefore, any further discoveries would not have been as successful. Right? So, what did I do? Right. Now, at this moment, I could have captured the knight, have him recapture, and then, so I would have gotten two knights, lost a bishop, and maintain my rook on the square of c6. Right? I could have done those exchanges. I could have also taken my rook off of A1, dropped it on F1 to just create a reinforced line of keeping pressure on that F file. And then at a later point, I could swing the other rook on the other file, which is probably what I should have done. But I got jittery, right? I got a bit jittery. And now I pay the price. Silly me though. Only God knows why I didn't drop the rook on H7. I mean, there's no guarantee that the queen would have. Yeah, but then that's a bad move. Because then he could always go forward, capture my bishop, forcing me to trade. That would have been bad for me. So, in hindsight, good thing I didn't do that to myself. So, one of my favorite tactics. I force him to pin his rook. This right here is where I started to mess up. Right? What I should have done here now, I had so many options here. So many options. Yeah, sorry. All right. Yeah, I had options, right? I mean, I could have moved my rook from h6, dropped it on g6 to deliver check. Although it would have gotten a bit like, samey, repetitive, right? But the best move here, I should have captured the rook with the bishop on d5 and then force him to think about what would happen next. That's really what I should have done, in all seriousness. But you're going to see very soon what I actually did. Here we are now. So I forgot that the rook was there, and then by doing this, I effectively broke my own pin, right? So I should have seen this, but it was an oversight on my part. So now it's a bit safer. Interesting that I did this. He neglected to do, because he knew that by doing the capture, he would have lost his rook. So he didn't want to take the risk. All right, I deliver the capture. There we go. Now I start to use the two bishops to my advantage. So I figure, why not antagonize you? Force you to go on a safe square. That you did. Now look at this. I'm creating a bit of a, just a bit of a puzzle for you to solve. So now the king takes a step. Now I bring my rook into the game because it's the only thing I have left. And of course, I'm overloading. I'm trying to get that knight for free. Right? So let's see if I can even the scales. Give me a second. All right, so we're pretty much at the beginning of the end. So what exactly did I do to turn my game around after this? You wouldn't believe it.